Hey, good morning. Good day, I should say. All right. Today I wanted to start, well, I've already started, but start working on a new module called PSChipotle. And I finished the sponsor action and it's published and I've tested and everything. So if you're following from the last stream, I finished the action. It worked as soon as the stream ended. I don't remember what it was, but it was something small and stupid that I got hung up on at the end. That's fixed. And let's see. So this now works as intended. You tell it what file you're monitoring. You give it that sponsor's file. You tell it what README you want it to add it to, and it'll throw something up like this in a table, looking like a table in a README. If you want to show off your sponsors or from whatever platforms. So that's working. Just future work for this would be adding more platforms. But anyway, that's not what today is about. Today is creating this PSChipotle. And so the idea of this is to figure out how to wrap around the current Chipotle API. And I don't know, if one of your scripts works, it auto orders you a burrito or something like that. Just to have some fun. So I'm going to learn a lot from this. So I've already written a lot of stuff. I want to just kind of give a tour of everything I've worked on so far, off screen, and then hopefully do the rest on screen. So another thing I'm trying to work on is test-driven development. So I want to get a lot better about using Pester, really leaning on Pester for testing things. So the idea is once I figure out some functionality I want to create, I go forth and write a test to prove that functionality. And once obviously I would be failing the test because I don't have the functionality yet that it's saying I need. But you write the test and then you write the function to eventually pass the test. And then once you got your basic functionality, you want to improve on that. First, you write the test for it, and then you write your code until you can pass the test. And so I haven't written any API stuff yet. I've been working on my workflows and testing and making a new testing structure. I'm updated with the latest Pester 5.2 syntax. So I've learned a lot through that. And so I just wanted to give a quick little tour of everything I've got so far. So I've got just up here high level, I've got my changelog, which right now is empty, a license file, the actual module, manifest in the module, and then a README. So I'm cool. I've got some badges down here. And I've actually published version 0001 of this module to the PowerShell gallery. And the reason for that was really just to reserve this module name on the PowerShell gallery, this PSChipotle. I was hoping that working on this, someone else wouldn't publish theirs and steal the name or whatever. So there's a version out here. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. And now 6 people know that it doesn't do anything. But it's just out here so that I own this module name, and eventually it will be functioning, and I'll publish, version 1.0 or whatever. So that's why it's published. But so I've got that. I've got some basic functions out here. Again, I don't know exactly how the API looks, so I don't know the names of these commands yet, but basically you're going to need a session if you're going to sign in, and if you have an account, Chipotle account that you're going to use, this would get you that session. Get most recent meals or something that you've ordered and get some account information. Again, these don't work. They're just base functions for me to start building tests around and figuring out how I want that test structure to work. So we've got a private function too. So those are functions. That's where I will put them when I make them. We've got some classes as well. So this is another sort of newish idea for me, is to leverage, my own custom objects that this module will use. So I thought, have an object that represents the order, a whole order, this is empty, this isn't really built. And then another object that represents the session, right? Or yeah, your current session with Chipotle. So again, I'm not sure exactly what I need for this. I'm sure to sign in, you'll need your username and a password. You can pass that as a credential. And I don't know what session looks like. This is all just scaffolding. Obviously the API endpoint, and I don't know what I need, but I'm just getting some scaffolding out here. The tests. So these are a sort of, oh, I'm not on the right thing. Here. So I've got my main branch is version 0001 that's been published. Now I'm working off of 0002 and I've added a lot of stuff. So I've got 2 tests out here. This is like my standard test for all my other modules. I've got tests to test the manifest. Running test module manifest. This is a built-in PowerShell command. That should pass. Yeah. So that should be true. It should have functions it exports. It should have a version number. It should have an author, description. Just testing the manifest. I don't want to accidentally publish a module that doesn't have an author or something like that. So that's all that's for. Some tests for the module itself. So it should import successfully. So there should be no errors during the import process. All the functions it says it should import should be there. If I've got any aliases, they should resolve properly. And then my module should have these 2 files, a license file, a change log. Just, again, very, very basic stuff. I used to have in my module tests for all my other modules like Help Desk and Admin Toolkit, in this public functions section, I would have a bunch of tests that actually tested each of the functions. I've moved those out into their own, this functions area. So I've got an area inside of functions. I have a folder called public. So this is where I'm going to store the tests for all my public functions. And a lot of tests are going to apply to every single function that I make. Just some sort of code standards. So I've wrapped those in this universal tests. And so these are tests that are going to apply to every function that I write. So every function should have a parameter section in the comment-based help if it's a parameter that I've defined. For example, on this new Chipotle session function, I've got 3 parameters defined: credential, make this a little bigger, credential, session, and default headers. So I should have help defined up here if I have a parameter defined for that. So I have to do a little bit of filtering because obviously when you do this commandlet binding, you get lots of parameters. You get error action, right? Verbose, all kinds of debug. You get a lot of those. So I have to filter those out. And I do that here. So for each one of the functions, I get all of the parameters for that command that aren't common parameters or built-in optional common parameters. And so this takes care of the verbose, the debug, information action, all that stuff. So I'm left with just the ones that are custom or user-defined. So all of them, if they have parameters, should have this text basically in somewhere in the file, dot parameter, and then the name of the parameter. They should correctly register with get command because again, they're public. So they should be functions that are available to you in a session. They should have comment-based help. Zoom in this just a bit. Yeah, that was really small. So each function should have a synopsis, help, description, at least one example, a notes section. And this one I've wrestled with a little bit. So they should all be functions. they should all have command that binding and all have a parameter block. Even if they don't accept parameters, it should have a parameter block that's empty, just as a, coding standard. So I test for that. I ran into an issue with this in the past where I wrote a filter, not a function. So then the test kind of was useless, but I didn't want to rewrite my tests because they loop through every function. So I just had function commented out in the file so that it would pass the test technically. But yeah, what was that for? Timestamp or something? It was actually it was a filter that took in pipeline values. Anyway, each file is wrapped in a region, and the entire content of the PowerShell file should be able to run through this PS parser and throw no errors, which basically means you can load the code and there's no formatting errors. It's valid PowerShell code. It might not work, but it's not going to throw errors just with how it's formatted. You're not missing a curly brace or something like that. So those are tests that apply to all my functions. And then obviously I'm going to write, these are tests specific to new Chipotle session. So these are tests that don't apply everywhere. They just apply to this function. So, when I call it, it should give me a certain object type back. It should be a Chipotle session. When I give it a credential, it should store that credential properly on, the credential property here. And so I'm just testing that stuff. Again, this is all just basic. If I give new Chipotle session a value, I want to make sure that the value it throws in that property matches what I expect. Basically just that it assigns stuff properly. Again, these are very simple tests, but at least to have them. And so this is some scaffolding for once I'm ready to actually dive into writing API stuff, I now know where and how to write those tests. And then, just some more tests for get Chipotle meals. Again, I'm just creating like a hash table for main order. I do not know if this is how this stuff is structured or what these values are supposed to be. This is just scaffolding. So when I give main order this hash table, it should assign it all properly. If I say my side order is chips, then the side order on this object should come back and have that value. So again, just very basic tests. And I can come in here, pester, tests output detailed. So I should be able to run this and it'll run all my tests. Everything should pass. So even though I don't have any functionality, I've got 54 tests that are already in place. If I accidentally step out of bounds, I've already got tests written. So that's cool. Again, this is like a best practice that I have not really been doing. I've now that I've learned testing with Pester, now I'm kind of going back and writing tests after the fact. Now that I'm starting a new module, this is a perfect opportunity to come in and write the tests first and then write the function to pass the test. So huge learning opportunity for me. And then outside of the module, just some GitHub stuff. I've got my build. Again, this is, I did all this work for my admin toolkit, so I kind of just copied everything over. Every pull request, every push will go through test. It'll test the source code in every OS, Linux, Windows, and Mac. If I merge a pull request into main, it will do all those tests. Then it will build the module and do tests after the fact. And then also version check to see, if I were to pull this 0002 version into main, it would compare that against the version in the PowerShell gallery and then auto publish. So I've got all that workflow and testing pipeline stuff in place. Right now, the way the pre-built module needs to have these loops in the module. So all the public functions, I go and find all those PowerShell files and I load all those files. So it's importing the commands. I have a private function. So grab every file in the private functions folder and load them. And I've got classes now. So I'm loading all the classes. So this loads everything. But when I build the module, Let me come here and just build, don't publish, and don't clean up. Can I skip the version check? Maybe I need a... Let's do this. Don't publish. Don't clean up. Fake key. I just need to give it a value. Oops. Must have the module name baked in. All right, what did I break? Full release pipeline. Module name. Oh, this is strange. I thought I added this switch. So right now it does a version check with the PowerShell gallery before it even builds or tests or anything. And I wanted to be able to skip that. The build doesn't have it. It's just on here. For some reason, this did not get saved to this file. So let's add it quick. Skip version check. Build helper. Oh, this, oh, okay. So that's here. I don't need this. That's what broke. Okay. All right, so yeah, so starting build process because I added this. Oh, it did do the check, but anyway, so this is the full build. It does all the pre-tests. And if all those tests pass, then it builds the module, and I'll explain what that is. And then once it's built, it runs very few tests on the code after the fact. And then we're done. So we're left with some files that I also say on this command, do not clean up, which basically means in the GitHub world, when this normally runs, it creates all these extra files, a clone of the module that's built, a built version. And that's the version that will get published to the PowerShell gallery. And then it auto cleans up and deletes stuff. I probably don't need to do that because GitHub just throws the container away. But for local testing, I needed to auto clean up because I'm lazy. I don't want to delete all these files all the time. But if something's broken and I want to see what that module looks like, so it's still here, this PSChipotle _build. This is the built version of the module. And pre-built, the module is scattered all over the place. So in functions, we have private. Each of these functions lives in these files. So they're all scattered out. And I've got to loop through all those files and load them individually. So for other modules that have 60 commands in 60 different files, I've got to loop through all the files, copy paste, load each file individually. And if you were to install that version of the module, that's what you have to do locally when you're using PowerShell is every time you run a command, it's got to go through the time of, oh wait, I got to load everything first. So what's nice is if you're going to publish this to the world, you want to build the module first. And what that means is I go through the headache of all that copy pasting for you. So the built version is all of those files. I copy paste their code into this file for you. So these are all the classes that get loaded into this file. This function, it's no longer a separate file. It's all packed into this file. So then loading happens real quick. It's already got the code. It doesn't have to loop through a bunch of files and grab it. So that helps the end users when they install it and want to use the product. It loads much faster for them. But for me, developing, I want the code still, spread out and it's organized and I know what is where. So that's the build process. And then I have other tests that run on this version of the module, where all the functions and everything are in a single file. So that's everything I've got set up. I know it's a lot. This doesn't even do anything, but it's got a lot of code written already. But that's PowerShell module building 101. You basically do all that copy pasting. And so that's why one of my tests is to make sure it's got these regions on it. So when it's in a single file and I need to look at the giant file, these are collapsible and I know, what area of code I'm in, blah, blah, blah. So that's that. And I don't need this, so I can just delete it. And then it posts Pester posts test results. But if I ran that without the do not clean up, but I will run this so it's faster. It'll do all the same stuff. Test, build, test. It will skip the publish process and then it will just delete everything. So I'm back to exactly how I was, but now I know that everything's working properly because it passed all my tests and whatnot. If any of the tests fail, it stops at that point. So if a pre-build test fails, it won't build. I have to go fix that first. And then, okay, so it passes all the pre-tests, it builds. Oh, it fails a post-test. It will not publish and will not go forward. So it's gotta, if any point in this whole process there's an error, it will just stop. So now that I've got all that set up, I think I'm ready to start actually looking into how the API actually looks and write something that's useful. So yeah, that's where I'm at. That's a lot of stuff I've done on my own, not on screen, but I was excited once I got the idea. So I just kind of jumped into it. But all the scaffolding's here and we're ready to, jump in. So there are several things online that, no one's done this in PowerShell, but I've been looking have other people built their own code or tools around the API. And I found one, it's this burrito module and it's written in Go, but it does give me some of the URLs and the endpoints, like for the login request, this is the endpoint. So just references like this that really help. Again, I don't know if this is still valid. This hasn't been touched in a couple years, but at least it's a starting point for me to jump in and see if it works. Chipotle, they do have documentation on their API, but I can't test any of it until I get a subscription key or something. They have all these APIs. So I can't even test looking into these or making these requests until I get my key, which is, I don't know where that gets thrown here. And this could be the wrong API. You shouldn't have to request from them a key to hit, just endpoints. So that's why I'm confused. I'm probably in the wrong spot. This is probably for if I'm building an app and my app needs to have, just a whole extra suite of endpoints to talk to. That's probably what this is, but I'm not sure. So my key for that, which I don't think this is the right way to go, is still requested. So I can't play with this yet. But they've got lots of documentation, but it's just not documentation I expected to see. Doesn't look like these are the right endpoints for just, you know, Joe Schmo to hit, which is what. Yeah, see, let me, I don't think I need to provide. Header value is required. What's the header value? Yeah, see the subscription key. You guys, the way this looks to me is anyone using this would have to go out here, request this subscription, and then provide that to their PowerShell commands that I'd write all the time. And that's just not a thing. They should just be able to hit endpoints either anonymously or with their own Chipotle account. That's their subscription key. That's where that should come from. So that's why I don't think this is the right documentation, but it's the only documentation that's out here. So that's what makes it hard to test, but stumbling upon stuff like this helps out with that. API restaurant. So this looks like it's going to give you the restaurant IDs. You know, there's a specific restaurant down the road you want to order from. All you have to do is provide the ID. I wonder if there's a... Let me grab this, because this would go on the order class, wouldn't it? The order is going to have what restaurant is this order going to go to. So I wonder if we could do... Oops. Okay, I need a template over here. Let me make a new... See, this is my dilemma with this development stuff. Is right now I want to quick make a function that gives me, just give me every Chipotle restaurant. Just show me all of them in the world. And then I can filter based on the state or whatever. Technically, after my whole spiel about testing, I need to go write a test for that before I even get started. But I don't know what any of this stuff looks like. So I guess before I make the function, I want to just test. What did I copy? Give me that whole URL. I just need to test and see what I'm even dealing with. This will be URI. I think it's just headers. Content type, application JSON. What else did this say it wanted? Oh, not this one. I want this to be a GET request, though, I think. And then my method equals GET. So I should be able to... Wow. REST method. I should be able to run something like this. And I'd rather just throw this in terminal instead of... Like how I can paste in terminal in chunks down here at like paste line by line in VS Code, which is odd to me. But, okay, hey, we got a response. Let me change this. Is there a restaurants endpoint or something? So this just takes me here. Everything takes me back here. That's what makes me think that those old API endpoints don't exist anymore. And they've made references to just all those calls redirect you. Yeah, to the main page. And the new way is this new API stuff that they've got. And that's going to suck. I don't know how to get around having to provide a subscription key like this. But real quick, let's go look at restaurants. They have an endpoint just for restaurant search, I suppose. Yeah, so you have to have a key to access the API. They don't have like a public facing API. So there's not much. That I can do with this until I get that key. Oh, request body. Oh, so the body would just be this name of the state, but I can't hit this. Yeah, it's like they tore that old endpoint down. None of these are valid. That sucks. That's like a big roadblock. So I did this, I don't know, Saturday or something. I requested this. I pinged him on Twitter, but maybe I just need to send him an email to their, I don't know, tech support and see if I can talk to somebody. Figure out this API stuff. What's this? Fast food, not real. Yeah, there's almost no documentation on their endpoint except for this, which I can't even use right now. So there's not much more progress to make. That sucks. Restaurant lookup. Yeah, see, this is all if you've got an app. They'll throw logs in a bucket for your application specifically to troubleshoot, blah, blah, blah. Changes. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do at this point if there's no API for me to talk to. I've got all my tests in place. Now I can start writing stuff. But these aren't real anymore. Yeah, they all just redirect. They got rid of that. Darn. I'm not sure what to do at this point. Optional. to do with the visit. I just need to explain I need API help. I don't know what these lags are. No receipt. Yes. Next. I think I can, I've never tried this slide out. Let me try this. All right, cool. I made this to, not that this matters, but get to try out my cool slide here. This PowerShell hide my infos. Okay, submit. Okay, cool. Now I can come back up here. Sweet. All right. So I've hit them up on Twitter. Now I've sent a support message, I guess. So the problem is I don't have an anonymous endpoint that I can talk to. Even if you can't make order calls, restaurant lookups anonymously, you should be able to initiate a session ID request anonymously, right? That's how you log in the first place. What it looks like to me right now is before you can do anything API related, they have to approve a subscription key for you, which is not what users of this are going to be doing. They're going to be signing in with their Chipotle username or password. And until I dig into it, it might be possible for people to order as long as they have all the right information, credit card information, restaurant location and everything. As a guest, you don't actually have to have an account to order online, like through the app or whatever. So you should be able to do all of this anonymously without signing in. It's just if you want your rewards, or I intend to write some commands where you can get your most recent order. Obviously, if you're signed in, you'll be able to see that. And just, if you want to order the same thing, get recent order, select the first one, and then pipe that into new Chipotle order, and it'll just make, reorder the same thing with all the same information. That would be cool, but you have to be signed in for that. But I can't get anywhere with this. So this is kind of on hold until they get back to me, unfortunately. Yeah, if anyone has any questions on what I've got set up right now, like I said, I'm really starting to lean into Pester more. Pester is what runs all these tests, if you don't know. So this output here Let me go up to the top of this. Oops. So all my tests are in these individual files. So it's showing me. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Right now I'm working on a PowerShell module to hopefully let people talk to the Chipotle API. I was talking to a coworker, and it'd be cool. So in our, build and release pipelines for our applications at work, on release night, if a production release happens, everything's flawless, all the tests pass, QA doesn't have to do anything. It would be sweet. Our pipelines are partially written in PowerShell, so it'd be sweet to have some sort of logic to figure out all the engineers for that application that's being released. And if everything goes well, just send them all Chipotle or something. So this may have some business application, but it's more just for fun. And I'm going to learn a ton from this. But anyway, that's the project. Thanks for following. That's what I'm going to be working on going forward. So yeah, when I run this invoke, well, I guess I should just run the command. Invoke pester, and I tell pester the path. So all my tests live in this tests folder. It's going to automatically detect those tests. So it shows, I found 5 tests. Here's all the files. And it discovers all the tests that live inside. So it runs in 2 phases. There's 6 tests here. There's 33 in this one. And then it's going to go and run those tests. And because I have this output detailed, it's actually going to show me all the tests and the descriptions and everything that passed. So at a high level, if you're looking at a log of this or something, you'll be able to see, my function, get Chipotle meals. It should have a base type of object. The type name should be Chipotle order. That's the name of the class. And it should assign and regurgitate specific values that are given to the function, and the class should spit them out correctly. So very basic tests. That pester allows you to write these tests like this and have this whole format for getting output. It can output these test results in a format that a lot of pipeline tools can read. TeamCity, Jenkins, GitHub even gives you test coverage overviews and dashboards and stuff. Let me see if I can find some of that. So here's these tests. Does it show me? I thought GitHub would give me a dashboard of how many tests were run, because I am outputting this to XML. I thought GitHub looked at that stuff. Yeah, but it doesn't look like. I thought you could do that. But anyway, there's different XML formats. I think mine's using Jacoco. I guess I can confirm that. Anyway, it lets you create these tests and structure it and output in a way that a lot of tools can read it. So it's very robust. Gives you a lot of output. And I don't have to write the logic to create this beautiful output. It just is built into the Pester framework. So that's very cool. Pester's kind of the de facto standard for PowerShell testing, if you don't know that. It is a bit of a curveball to learn. At least it has been for me. But yeah, so that's what I've got. Gosh, that sucks about the API. I didn't think that this would be as big of a roadblock as it is, but honestly, there's nothing more for me to do in lieu of having API access. I've already written all the tests and all the workflows, and I know my workflows work because I've published, a version to the PowerShell gallery. So everything's working. But all at the same time, nothing is working. So that sucks. Yeah, I guess hopefully by next week, this is figured out. That I hear back from Chipotle, or maybe I have to give them a call if they don't get back to me. That kind of sucks. But yeah, a lot of new concepts for me. I've built classes before for other things, but not in the context of a module. So we'll be going over, building classes in PowerShell, writing function-specific tests, which currently don't exist in any of my other modules. I changed the build pipeline a little bit, but not much change there. So anyway, if you're new to PowerShell, if you're new to modules, what I'm saying is there's a lot to learn through this project. And I've done this with other projects, but until you kind of see it done, it's hard to just look at a fully done project and learn how it worked. It's kind of nice to see it be built from the ground up. So unfortunately, I did a lot of this work off screen. I'm so sorry. I was just very excited. I wanted to get all this stuff done so that this first stream I could actually do API stuff, but that is not happening. So, yeah. So I guess I might as well call this one early because there's no work to be done. I try to stream on Thursdays at 10 Central Time, but if I hear back from Chipotle tomorrow and we fix this and I'm so excited about it, I'll stream tomorrow evening. I have yet to stream outside of my normal scheduled once a week, 1 hour a week time slot, but with a project like this, depending, I assume this is going to take a long time. So I'll probably have to stream more than just once a week, assuming that they get back to me and we can make some progress. But anyway, so yeah, look out for that. The schedule's posted on my Twitch. This is going to be weird. Let me pause this. So if you go to my Twitch, there should be a countdown here. Yeah, I'm live now, but as soon as I'm done, this will tell you, how many hours and minutes till my next scheduled time. But yeah, if you follow me, you'll get a notification, obviously. Yeah, that's about it. Follow me on all the things. Thanks for the follow today. And yeah, I'm going to call this here. There's no progress for me to make right now. So if something happens before next Thursday, I'll try to hop on. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in a week. Thanks so much. And if you have any questions, let me know. If there's things specifically you want me to go over on a stream, I absolutely will. Just send me a message or in the chat. I'll respond to that right away. But yeah, hopefully this is a fun project. It's exciting to me. I love Chipotle, and it would just be cool to have a PowerShell command quick that'll do it. Then I go, take off out the door and go get my Chipotle. I could do it in the app, but come on, why not be able to do it with PowerShell? That's the idea. So yeah, like I said, thanks so much. I'm going to call it here. Have a good one. And yeah, have a great weekend. And yeah, just have a great one. All right. See you guys.